Welcome to Valheim Guides. Today we're going to take a look at Bonemass, who's the third boss in Valheim. I've already covered both Eikthyr and the Elder in separate videos. Please check the links in the description box below if you'd like to see those. Bonemass is an extremely challenging boss, especially if you're a solo. He's quite the jump in difficulty from the Elder, unlike the jump between Eikthyr and the Elder. Now there's some things you can do to make this boss a lot easier, but that still doesn't make him easy by any means. Our journey with Bonemass begins in the swamps. You'll need access to the sunken crypts, so you'll need to have killed the Elder and obtain the swamp key. In the sunken crypts, you'll find the Vegvisir for Bonemass, which will give you the location of the closest Bonemass summoning altar. You can also find the Vegvisir on abandoned stone buildings throughout the swamps as well. If you make your way to his altar and read the runestone, you can get a hint for what items you'll need to summon him. Cook their remains. This is referring to withered bone, which can be found in the sunken crypts. There's a fair amount of preparation required for this fight. Withered bone shouldn't be your only focus in the sunken crypts, as iron scrap should be your priority. You could do this boss fight with bronze or troll armor and bronze weapons, but in all fairness, you're just making it extremely challenging for yourself. I would advise a minimum of iron armor and iron weapons, which will become apparent when we look at the actual fight. Before you think you can kill Bonemass with arrows or ranged weapons, think again. He takes near no damage from ranged weapons, but ranged weapons are useful for dealing with adds, especially the skeleton archers. Bonemass has a weakness to blunt weapons. This is something you may have discovered while fighting skeletons and blobs in the wilderness. So I would heavily advise a mace as a minimum, ideally something like an iron mace and a shield to help mitigate any damage from ranged skeletons. Food has probably been relatively important up to this point, but it's about to get a lot more crucial, and now on top of that we need to look at potions. I would advise going into this fight with a bare minimum of the poison resistance potion, and if you can, get a couple of medium healing potions. The poison resistance potion will last 10 minutes, and it will mitigate poison damage as well as poison duration. Food wise, there's 4 schools of thought: health, stamina, healing per tick, and duration. Health is your overall health pool, and honestly is the most crucial stat for this fight. Not just to survive being poisoned, but also the big hits Bonemass inflicts, as well as the waves of adds. Stamina is really important for this fight too, due to your opportunities to inflict damage. Bonemass has delays between attacks, which can give you the opportunity of 2 combos worth of damage if you have the stamina for it. You're also wet throughout the encounter, which hinders your health and stamina regen, so a low stamina pool will be relatively frustrating. Healing per tick is on the fence for me. On the one hand, it can help us recover when taking large amounts of poison damage, but also help us with the reduced health regen from the wet effect. On the other hand, we have to sacrifice stamina and health for it. Finally, there's duration, but this shouldn't really be considered as it won't help us that much. The best foods I found for this fight are sausages, queen's jam, cooked meat and honey. Sausages will give us 60 health, 40 stamina and 3 health per tick. Queen's jam will give us 30 health, 40 stamina and 2 health per tick. Cooked meat will give us 40 health, 30 stamina and 2 health per tick. And finally honey will give us 20 health, 20 stamina and 5 health per tick. We can only use 3 of these foods in conjunction with one another. So here's a few options. The first is my preferred favourite, which is sausages, queen's jam and cooked meat. This will give us 130 health, which is the biggest health pool, 110 stamina, which is the biggest stamina pool, and 7 healing per tick, which is the lowest out of the 3 options. The second is sausages, cooked meat and honey. This will give us 120 health, 90 stamina and 10 healing per tick. And the final is sausages, queen's jam and honey, which will give us 110 health, 100 stamina and 10 healing per tick. You could throw in a tasty mead if you have a high health per tick and can afford the 50% health regen loss for the 300% stamina regen gain, but I would advise against it. Finally, the last consumable I would advise is the medium healing mead for those sticky situations. With all our preparations covered, let's move on to the encounter. Similar to the previous two bosses, Bonemass only has 3 mechanics. His first is spawn adds. This is where he'll hurl a green ball in front of him, which I could be mistaken but doesn't seem to do damage if it hits you, although it will spawn skeletons and blobs. It's really important that you kill these mobs as priority, as if you try and focus the boss it's easy to become overwhelmed. While he's throwing his ball, it's a great opportunity to get some hits in. The tell for this ability is he will raise his right arm and pull something from under his armpit with his left before throwing it. The second ability is Poison Vomit. This is where he'll vomit a poison cloud in front of him, which has quite a large area of effect. If you get hit by this, it will hit you with quite a hard hitting poison. Dodging doesn't seem to be that effective here, so I'd advise just simply running away as you've got a couple of seconds before the poison hits you. The tell for this ability is when he grabs his stomach with both hands before arching forward. His final ability is essentially a cleave, where he will swing his arm out in front of him. This can be avoided by a dodge, but try to time it towards the end of the animation, as if you dodge too early it will still hit you. After this attack you have the opportunity to get 1 to 2 combos of damage into the boss if you have enough stamina. This ability also does quite a bit of damage and will leave you poisoned. The tell for this attack is he'll pull his right arm back and swings it across his chest. Now it's a case of rinse and repeat until he's dead. Then you'll be rewarded with the Bonemass trophy and the wishbone. The wishbone can be equipped and allows you to discover hidden items throughout the world. I'll leave a link in the description box below to a video covering the wishbone. The Bonemass trophy needs to be returned to the sacrificial stones. Once you're at the stones, head to the Bonemass stone, which is next to the Elder's stone. Place the trophy on the hook, and then to activate his power, press the use key on the trophy. You now have the Bonemass Forsaken power. This power has a passive and on-use ability which reduces physical damage taken. And that pretty much wraps up Bonemass. I hope you found this guide useful, and if you did, it would be great if you hit that thumbs up. And if you would like to stay up to date with all of my Valheim content, please don't forget to subscribe.